I'm live now, but it is almost 11 a.m. here, which means it's almost 4 a.m. in New York.
Maybe that's why I'm suddenly unable to move.
And we have exactly one person joining us. I love it. Hello, one person who's here. I am streaming
Talk
you.
to them directly. You
Yes,
now have a private
I will
stream
talk to
of
you
you.
directly. Who are you? Make yourself known. It is currently. Hi, Jasmine. Hi, Farah. It is currently almost 11 a.m. in Cairo, which is almost 4 a.m. New York time, which I don't know if anybody's awake. I guess you are. Hello, everyone who's awake. Erin is going to be staying out of this live, but we are currently on our hotel bed because we are, one, super jet lagged, two, I'm going to plug my phone back in because the charger just jumped out. That's creepy. Okay, I'm back. It's very tiring being in Cairo. The city is a lot more visceral than we had imagined. We actually just came back to the hotel. We took an Uber back because it was only like 30 Egyptian pounds, which is about $2 USD. And we were both just kind of exhausted. We went to a Yemeni restaurant. I believe a viewer recommended it to us.
Not a Yemeni restaurant.
The Yemeni restaurant
Yes.
is what it's known as. And Aaron got like a liver stir fry type of thing, and I got a covered beans type of thing, which was just like a mashed bean layer topped with a lot of scrambled eggs, and then it came with this Yemeni bread, which was amazingly flaky. It reminded me of like Chinese scallion pancakes, but flakier with no scallions, and just really nice and chewy, kind of like glutinous elasticy, but still very tender. And it had like some char marks on the outside, and I loved it. But my favorite thing was this yogurt drink that we ordered, which was just, it came out of a plastic bottle, but I love yogurt. Really exhausting. I did not expect Cairo to be this much. It is a lot to take on. It is, one, very noisy. The traffic is nonstop. Cars are constantly honking at you. And I'm trying to kind of recalibrate. Hey, Norway. I'm trying to recalibrate because every time I hear a car honking at me, I come from an environment where if a car is honking at you, it's trying to tell you, hey, bitch, get out of the way. And I usually interpret that to mean I'm doing something wrong. But I think that the cars here just honk constantly to let you know that they are there and they are traveling towards you, and they want you to be aware that they are traveling towards you because I don't see any traffic lights. So it's a bit like Vietnam where you just cross, and as you're crossing, you kind of like flow with the traffic, and you just make way for the cars, and the cars make way for you, and you just make progress, but the progress is very, it's like waves of progress. Yes, we do try to cross the street with other people. Sometimes there's just not other people to cross with. Aaron learned Arabic from Duolingo, but both of us are having trouble putting it to use, and we're relying heavily on Google Translate. Thankfully, there have been some people who are kind enough and patient enough to like deal with us and our foreign asses. And some of them do speak English to us, and they're very considerate, and I'm very grateful for the people who can deal with our ignorant American butts. But definitely could have done a better job learning the language, but also, I mean, me being burnt out from work as much as I am, I would have never gone to a foreign country where English was not spoken for the foreseeable future if I had to learn the language, even the bare bones language, because I just didn't have the time to do that. So we're just here being our ignorant American selves. But the
We're
traffic.
here because Lebanon decided to shit itself.
Yes, Lebanon. We had a trip planned for Lebanon in April of 2020, which obviously got canceled because COVID. Then we rescheduled Lebanon for this autumn, but Lebanon has just descended into darkness in terms of just political, social. The currency there is fluctuating like crazy. Everything's in disarray. And we just figured it was probably not the right time for us to visit. So we came to Egypt, which has been great. Like, we had the most delicious falafel. I would say it's not as herbaceous as I'm used to eating falafel, but it was the most light, fluffy falafel I've ever had, and it was fresh, and the chef was so kind, and I think we got like 3 sandwiches, one of which had potato chips in it for 30 Egyptian pounds,
That
which,
one was so fun.
yeah, which again is like $2, so it's insane how cheap it is. I want to show you guys some snacks because I don't have anything else to show you because I'm just so tired and we're just chilling in the hotel. I cannot believe we're this tired, by the way, at 11 a.m., but I did go to sleep last night around 10:30 p.m. my time, and I woke up at 3 a.m., and Aaron and I decided to start going exploring at 5:30 a.m. before the sun was even up because he had been awake since midnight. So jet lag is real. Sleep deprivation has been very real. We spent 12 hours in layover in Doha.
It was a pretty comfortable.
It was a
12 hours.
very, very comfortable 12 hours. We had access to the first class lounge and the business lounge, and we had like a private room reserved where we could take a nap. But I think just traveling and being between time zones and being very confused and disoriented leads.
Imagine doing that layover without lounge.
Oh my God, if we had a 12-hour
In the seats
layover
at the gate.
in
Yeah.
the seats of the airport, I would be crying right now. But living a life of privilege here. My anxiety. It's manageable now. After we had our Yemeni meal, Aaron said he wanted to come back to the hotel, and I was like, well, I really feel like exploring, so I was going to explore on my own. But then I realized how insane it is to try to cross the streets here, and I don't really know the metro system very well. And I also don't have Uber installed on my phone just yet because we got local numbers, we got local SIM cards, but I didn't actually know what my number was. So anyway, I couldn't set up my Uber account, so I was like, I don't feel like going separate from Aaron because just in case I get stranded and I can't end up crossing a street, I'm going to be gone forever. So we came back to the hotel together. But anyway, I got snacks. It was just a random shop in the middle of the street, but they had racks on racks on racks of snacks. And all of this cost like 20, which is $1.50 maybe USD. I got some cookies, and they're coated in. Some of them are coated in sesame seeds, and I think a couple of them might be coated in shredded coconut and sugar. Hello, Japan. And sorry if I'm not responding to your comments right now because I only have my phone and all the comments are scrolling by pretty fast. So if you want to ask me something again, tag me and I'll be sure to answer your questions. I think this one has dates in it. They smell really buttery. Hi, Malta. We're not trying to stay awake all day. We're just trying to relax because usually when Aaron and I used to travel pre-pandemic, we would take it really seriously and we would try to like cram in as much stuff into our days as possible to like really get our money's worth. But I think after the pandemic, we're just not in shape anymore to travel, like both physical shape and mental shape. So we're just trying to take it easy for ourselves and just try to be here, but also treat ourselves to relax as one should when you're on vacation. I think we used to do vacations like they were projects. We're not planning on seeing the pyramids. Hi, London. I'm not sure what this one is. This one is definitely dates, the dark one. But there's a light one, and I'm not sure what that is. So if we got any Egyptian friends in the audience who know what that filling is, let me know. The gentleman was so kind. He was like, do you want more? And every time I asked for something, they put in these styrofoam plates, and they have to wrap it in plastic. So I felt really bad that he was giving me 2 cookies and a whole plate. So I got another 2 cookies. We have to visit Street Muez al Din, Aaron. Khan al Khalili. Yes, we're doing that one. And El Azhar. I think we're doing the second two. But Aaron, do you know of Muez al Din? Muezzzel. I'll write that down. Thank you, Zora.
I believe that's a street we walked. Is it a street?
Yes, it is a street.
Yeah, that was the street we walked through. The historical one.
Oh yeah, so we did walk through that
Yes.
today.
It was very pretty.
We also almond paste filling. Fuck, I should have gotten 100 of them. Wait, are you serious? It looks a little too clear. It looks a little bit like a jam color. So I don't know if it's almond paste, but if it is almond paste, I would be delighted. We are actually meeting up or hoping to meet up with some viewers who live in Cairo. So really looking forward to having some local residents take us around maybe. We haven't set a time yet, but they reached out to me over YouTube comments, email, Instagram, so it could be pineapple jam. Julie, oh no, insomnia. Yeah, Shreyo Shri, I totally agree. Like, on this trip, I just don't have the motivation anymore. Like, before, I used to be just really gung-ho about, like, we're here. I'm gonna walk all day. I'm gonna walk 14 hours a day. I'm gonna be drained by the end of the day, and then I'm gonna go to sleep, wake up, and do it all over again, and we're gonna eat everything. And today, we ate at 2 places, and they were both, like, the second place, the Yemeni restaurant, was pretty big servings, so we're both really stuffed, and I was like, I feel exhausted. I feel overwhelmed because I was debriefing with Aaron about this. It's just like trying to be real about it. We love being in a new place, but Cairo is really exhausting so far. It is, the streets are littered with trash. And, you know, we've been in countries before where trash is everywhere, like a lot of China is like that.
All of Japan.
Shut up. Japan is the opposite of Cairo. I was actually wondering if, like, a Japanese person came to Cairo, how they would deal with this.
Absolute disgust.
It's just like complete disorder. Like, no stoplights. The traffic is insane. Constant honking. There is not a moment of silence ever. There's trash everywhere. There's no trash bins. There's just stray cats and dogs everywhere in really bad shape. There's people who are strays, essentially, houseless people everywhere. We were in the Uber, and a little girl, like maybe 9 years old, was tapping on our car window to beg for money, and they would do this gesture where they would be like, just give me something to eat. And then an old man came up to our car window, and because the traffic is so insane, they feel safe enough, I guess, to come between cars to do that. But it's just, it's an intense place. It's a very intense place. Obviously, it's a very deserty area. There's a lot of dust. So we are wearing masks, but I can feel the pollution through my mask. And I've lived in China, and we went to Hanoi in Vietnam, where the air pollution is really intense, and you could just kind of smell the smog. And here it is a lot of that, plus the high heat, plus the dust, and I think we're just exhausted. It's a lot to take in. So I'm sure it has a lot of beauty to it. I mean, the architecture is really amazing. The old kind of terracotta color palette on the buildings are really soothing, but set against this kind of like, I don't want to be disrespectful, but it just feels like modern deterioration on a lot of fronts. And to think about, I mean, just recent politics in Egypt, right? There's probably been just a lot of disorder and chaos. So I feel like the environment is kind of reflective of the impact of just human destruction. But continuing on in our snacks. Oh, these broke. I'm very sad. But they're covered in sesame seeds. They look like cracker cookies. They're a lot moister than I had assumed. These were whole when I bought them, but they have now been crushed. And besides sesames, I feel like there's tiny little beans in here. But I'm not sure what these are. I don't watch The Amazing Race. I think I watched like 2 episodes once upon a time. It is really hard to see poverty in parts of the world, and I was thinking about this while Aaron and I were walking this morning. And, you know, like Aaron does a really good job of reminding me regularly that living in New York City and not having to survive paycheck to paycheck, we are in the global 1%. And so to think that not only is this environment new and shocking to me, but like most of the world lives in not the world that I live in. Ooh, tea cookies. And just coming to grips with that and realizing that, and I don't have a summary. I don't have a takeaway here. I don't have a conclusion yet, but just recognizing that and trying to be taking it all in and respectful of it, even though it may seem very like much. It's a lot. um, I'm sure some people hate New York City when they visit it too. But yes, I'm looking forward to the meetups. Excited to be in touch more. Um, yeah, we saw buildings that were like. I hope there's no one living in there because a third of the building is like caved in. The building itself is still standing, but there's just like a whole chunk of the building that's that
It's called rubble, June.
rubble. I don't even know if that's rubble. I'm not describing the goat's rubble. I'm describing a whole other. It was a whole other big building.
I love goat rubble.
It looked like it was 30 stories tall, and like a third of it was just like kaplunked out. And it was still standing, but like I don't know how. It's very strange for me to walk around and film all of this and not know what I'm seeing yet. Okay, last tray of snacks. Aaron gave me a lot of shit when I ordered this because he was like, you're in Egypt and you just get like bugle looking shit. And I was like, yeah, what do you have against cheesy looking crunchy snacks? They had like bulk bins of these kinds of snacks, and I just asked for 2 of them that looked the crunchiest and the cheesiest, so I'm very much looking forward to these. They look like shells, and they look like little worms. So I'm very excited. But unfortunately, I'm not very hungry right now, but we are both very severely dehydrated.
I chugged water.
Okay, I'm gonna go chug some water. Y'all stay. My phone doesn't have a stand right now. Unfortunately, I'm using more plastic than I ever have in my life. They do look like silkworms. You're totally right. These were given to us by the hotel, so we haven't bought water yet, but I looked it up and you are not supposed to drink the tap water in Egypt, so.
I don't know why you would even think that was a possibility.
I don't know. Isn't it weird how we just take potable tap water for granted and how a shit ton of places in the world doesn't have potable tap water? I feel like that should be the first resource to be available to everyone.
No, it's available to Nestle to make money. That's the important thing.
Yeah, I'm really bummed that the hotel is stocking Nestle water because they are possibly the worst water producer, bottled water producer to stock. I mean, I feel like Nestle just straight up kills people, so I don't even think that's an exaggeration.
And they buy water, like water municipal water facilities just to privatize them. They just like buy it from the government and then like own it privately, bottle it, and then sell it for higher.
Yeah. They're just out to fuck up people's lives, honestly. Like we talk about blood diamonds, Nestle makes blood water. This is basically blood water. They're basically depriving people of natural resources. So there you have it, capitalism. Things you have to try in Egypt. Tamea. Yeah, we're definitely gonna try kushari. Everybody's been recommending, but I've not heard of that. I have to look it up. Taking notes, thank you. I mean, fool is everywhere, yes? So, I'm gonna be eating a lot of beans. Yeah, I'm sure it's all about which one has better contracts. If it's for profit, they don't give a shit. We are in one of the fanciest hotels here near the Nile River in Cairo just for 2 days, and then we're going to switch to an Airbnb. We are currently at the St. Regis, and it's fine.
It's just a million.
I asked Aaron if we paid cash, how much this room would cost per night, and he said it was like 380 USD, which is insane in Egypt because you can buy a whole meal for $2 for so 380 US dollars per night translated to Egyptian pounds would be 380 times 15 because 1 USD is about 15 Egyptian pounds. So somebody do the math on that. Let's just round it up and say it's 400 a night. 400 times 15 would be, oh my god, is that 60,000 Egyptian pounds? Is my math right? Mind blowing. Oh, falafel. Yes, we had the most amazing falafel. Oh, that's the name for falafel here? Tamea? Tamea? Did you know that, Aaron? He has his headphones in.
What's up?
Did you know that the name for falafel here is Tamea? Taameya?
No.
Dude, are we not supposed to call it falafel? Is it not known by falafel here? That's news to me. I thought I was going to call it falafel. Well, Shri, I also feel like we're on the Nile, and this is where all of the kind of luxury brand hotels live, so it's gonna be fucking expensive if you stay here. But the wealth discrepancy is like, I've never seen this before. You have all these fancy ass bougie hotels sitting right here, and then we walk 5 minutes down to the back road, cross the street behind the church, and it's alleyway after alleyway of trash and stray animals and shops selling like secondhand kids clothing, and it looks like the messiest parts of Naples crossed with rural China, and it's not things that I haven't seen before, but just the proximity of those streets to these fancy hotels. I just have never seen them so close together. Like, I've always known wealth disparity to have existed, but just how close the luxury is here to the poverty is a very new experience to me. So I'm really interested to see what staying in an Airbnb will feel like, and if that will be less shocking to me. Aaron, you said surely that kind of thing happens in New York, right? What kind of thing? Sorry, I should be paying more attention into. I haven't had men treat me differently. They've all been really courteous, but maybe it's because I'm traveling around with a white dude. Race relationships and perceptions are real. I do get treated very differently, I feel like, when I'm walking alongside Aaron versus when I'm walking alone. when I walked alone yesterday when Aaron was taking a nap here. I just felt like a lot more eyeballs on me rather than on, say, my camera or on us. But maybe it's also because I'm more self conscious, because after all, at the end of the day, I'm an unreliable narrator too. So who's to say what's actually happening? Um, oh, yeah, the wealth disparity thing definitely happens, but I have not been to a street or an alleyway in New York that is this much trash. I've seen this kind of setting in a lot of poorer parts of Asian countries, like China, definitely. Rural China has a lot of rubble and just random trash everywhere. Even Naples had it, but I've never been at a fancy hotel and then walk 5 minutes and then hit that kind of neighborhood like immediately. I don't think. New
It
York.
wasn't even 5 minutes. It's like right around.
Yeah, we
back of
just
the
crossed
hotel.
into the back street, passed by a church and some like bodega looking deli stores that sold water and snacks, and then what, bam, we were just there. There was like a couple of stray cats, and then we just like stepped foot into what looked like, if you've ever been to Naples, it just looked like those alleyways where people lived, and there's a hodgepodge of small shops and stores. Um, I don't see many Asians in Egypt at all. I haven't noticed a single East Asian here, actually. Um, Obviously, everybody's pretty tan and brown, so like South Asians, yeah, possibly. When we were in Doha at the airport, a lot of the staff seemed like they were Southeast Asian or South Asian. But once we landed in Cairo, I don't think I've seen. Have you noticed any East Asians here? I don't think I've seen. Um, Why did we choose to visit Egypt? So, Aaron is really into flying. He's very much in the experience of traveling in terms of where he flies, on what aircraft he flies. And so, he had some points he wanted to use on certain airlines. And unfortunately, we had a trip planned for Lebanon that was delayed from April 2020. And we were going to take it this autumn.
We could change it to anywhere in the region, and this was the best option.
Right. So when we decided we didn't want to go to Lebanon anymore because everything is in a lot of disorder there, Aaron had a very selective geography patch to choose from, and out of his options for that specific flight airline, um,
Qatar.
Qatar is the airline. Listen, guys, I don't know any of this stuff. This is all Aaron stuff. I'm just tagging along for the trip. But he was like, Egypt seems like the best next option, so. Asians are more concentrated in the east side of the country. Interesting. Hello, Nikki from the UK. Yeah, like Shrayoshri, I feel like that's something that, like, when I was in China, they do that too. They do a lot of preservation around the national treasures, and then, I don't know, they don't give a shit about other poor people. It's not so much helping the countrymen and just basically using the resources to enshrine reputation objects. I don't feel safe traveling, Maria S., especially with a pandemic. That's another good point as to why I feel really exhausted. There is very little to no mask wearing here in Egypt. People are just like coughing straight up, not covering their face when they do it, and some people wear masks. A lot of people don't. We were actually in the hotel lobby yesterday, and Aaron said he spotted a TikTok star with a group of very young people. I don't know how he knew about TikTok stars, because I certainly don't give a fuck about that. But None of them had masks on. They were obviously tourists, so the tourists here aren't wearing masks. A lot of the locals aren't wearing masks. I don't feel great. Like the chef who made our falafels this morning was really kind, but like touching the money and then just touching the falafels and giving us straight to our hands, and like I wasn't about to not accept it, but I hadn't sanitized my hands yet. So I ate it, but like I didn't feel great eating it. And it could just be a matter of like traveling fatigue and all, but I just I don't feel great physically. We'll have to pray that I don't get COVID, but that's always a possibility. We are both vaccinated, so hopefully the vaccination will, bolster us a little bit. But again, I don't know what's going to happen. Every part of this world is treating this pandemic differently, and they have different resources to handle it. And so I'm just being honest with you. I don't know what's going to happen. I don't feel great about the lack of precautions. None of the restaurants have had temperature checks. A lot of the staff doesn't wear masks. So obviously the people who's making our food probably aren't either. So it is a concern. Yeah, I know. I would love to come to New Zealand. Everybody wants to move to New Zealand. You guys have your shit together. Oh, what time is it for everyone who's currently on this live? What time is it where you are? Barstarka. Yes, I do have an Instagram. It's thank9stars. Spelled normally, but the 9 is a number. So THANK. Wait, let me start that. THANK, the number 9, STARS. Oh, okay. 4:19 a.m. is a little bit early, Kara, but everyone else is pretty normal time. Nashville doesn't wear masks. Oh. Yeah, and then San Francisco is a religion for mask wearing. Even in America, people treat it differently. Tiger Eyes, thank you for writing out my IG username. Yeah, y'all are crazy early. Holy Yoshi, go to sleep. 2:20 a.m., y'all. I'm trying to be safe. I'm Schneckenhaus. I love your name. But there's only so much you can do. 6:20 p.m. in Japan. Where in Japan are you? Aaron constantly talks about wanting to go back to Japan. Aaron loves Japan. Me, I feel like thinking about traveling to Japan gives me a bit of anxiety because there's a lot of rules you're supposed to follow in Japan, and being East Asian, I get mistaken for a native local Japanese person sometimes, and when they realize I don't speak Japanese, I don't know the customs, I feel like there's a lot of pressure on me to do the right thing when all I'm capable of doing is probably the wrong thing, because there's just so many rules in Japan, and I feel ashamed to be there and not know the rules and not follow the rules. So white man has a very different experience in Japan than an East Asian woman, you know? Texas doesn't wear masks. It's difficult to work at a bar. Oh my God. Please get another job. Why are people licking your ears? That shouldn't be acceptable even outside of a pandemic. Yeah, Thailand has been really great in terms of handling COVID. That's apparently why a lot of like US expats went there and kind of just like co-opted the place and made a whole industry of moving to Thailand, and they got a lot of shit for that too. So Aaron didn't get any snacks. Aaron isn't really a snacky person, so these snacks are mostly for me, but Aaron will be sharing them with me. But unfortunately, we just had a huge lunch, and we're both very sleep deprived, and neither of us want any more food right now, so. Christian Hansen, I just read your comment about, is that good or bad for you, June? And I have no idea what you were asking. I'm trying to read all the comments now. That's what my finger's doing on the screen. That's true. You're completely right, oh dot honey. People, please stop licking your bartender's ears. Like, that's unacceptable. Stop doing that. Also, please don't sneeze in people's faces no matter what industry you're working in and no matter where you're patronizing and a customer of. Just please cover your fucking face, guys. It's not that hard. If you don't want it on your body, other people don't want to be breathing it up their nostrils either. Oh, God. I still don't understand why people are licking your ears. That's so intrusive. That just makes me, like, well, I feel vicariously disgusted. I'm so sorry that happens to you. Looking like others, but now knowing. The jet lag isn't terrible yet, but you know, it's 11:20 a.m. here and it feels like 5 p.m. in my body. So we still have a whole day ahead of us and I'm already exhausted. So that's it. I'm trying to totally unplug from work while on vacation. It's a lot of me not having boundaries set in place, but I'm trying to be better about it. Especially because I feel like Hearst doesn't give a shit about its workers anyway. So truly, I owe it to myself to completely unplug. We are visiting Cairo until October 7th, and then we will be trying to take a train that we don't have a ticket for yet to Alexandria. And that's where we will spend the rest of the days of the trip, and we are flying back on the 11th. I am going to try to stay up, but if I need a nap, I'm going to take a nap. I'm not going to force myself to do anything. Like, guys, my body is so broken down from just existing during the pandemic, as I'm sure you can all relate to, that I need to adopt a whole new philosophy about how to go about life, because it's about managing and not about achieving anymore. I miss Fred too, Marias. I have friends looking after him. He threw up once already. You can check my Instagram for Fred in the background. I don't have any Fred photos right now to share. I miss Fredo too. I see all these street cats. They're so skinny. And I'm like, Fred, you look like 4 Egyptian cats got collaged together, you fatso. You cute, fluffy fatso. You were supposed to visit Korea and Thailand last year. Those sound like fun trips. Oh, I didn't bring my vitamins, but vitamin check for everyone else. Yes, Fred apparently looks like a whole new cat to a lot of people, so I hope it's a good thing. If you want to bring all the street cats home, Angel, you will be bringing like 100,000 million. Hello, Oreo. I hope you're having a good time looking yourself. Allison, I feel like a lot of cats are fascinated with Fred. I have a lot of viewers DM me photos of their cats pawing at the TV, sitting quietly in front of the TV, staring at him, just like totally absorbed. I don't know what it is about Fred, but he seems to be a very attractive cat to a lot of different species. Jay Chen, you were in Cairo in May. What was your favorite place that you went to? Let us know. Belinda, what is DD? Dunkin' Donuts? I don't know. I don't know what DD means. Yes, I miss Fred a lot. Oh. Duran. Tedley Donuts. Fascinating thing about the gym here in St. Regis, it's a very well maintained gym, but it's very small, and most of it is just cardio machines with a kind of normal weight rack. But what is fascinating about this gym is that there is a staff member there who not only like upkeeps, maintains, and sanitizes down the place constantly. He's also like double timing as the trainer. Last night I went there to work out, and he was just there coaching people through different kind of weightlifting movements, which I was the first time I've ever seen like a trainer inside the gym. And I don't know. I don't know what's going on here. We stayed at fancy hotels in LA too, but there was no trainer in the gym. Is this Egyptian cotton linen? I guess it would make sense if it's Egyptian cotton linen, but even though we are in Egypt, globalization has led to a lot of cheaper goods being flown all over, so who knows what's made where anymore. We haven't had a lot of meals so far. Most of our meals that we've had were in the airport lounges. I feel like my favorite meal so far was the falafel that I had this morning. It was hot, fresh, fluffy, flavorful, salty, lightly crispy on the outside, and the inside was like as light as whipped mashed potatoes, but as flavorful as a falafel inside. Slightly herbed, not too much, and the texture was smooth, but not like baby food mush smooth. It was just cloud-like in its intensity. So, I don't know. I know it's just a falafel, but it was a gosh darn good falafel. So, that has to be my favorite. Arturas, we will come to Lithuania to drown Aaron in all the cheeses whenever. What else are we going for in Lithuania? Would you ever go to Lithuania?
No.
Aaron said no. What's the provided shampoo scent? I actually brought my own shampoo because a lot of hotel shampoos make my skin itch, and I have a lot of like eczema issues, so I haven't smelled the shampoo here, unfortunately. I will tell you that the body wash is clear blue gel, which I hate because it just feels artificial, so my skin already feels disgusted by it when I see the color. I don't have to cover my head when I'm out and about, but I think if we were ever to go into a mosque, I would have to. I am pretty much covered all my limbs. Like, I'm wearing jeans out, I'm wearing long sleeves out. Very sad news, y'all. This pink silk shirt that I thrifted and showed you guys a while back, I freaking ripped it when I wore it to sleep. Like, I turned and I just heard this fabric tearing, and I woke up and I checked, and I had made 4 different rips in this very fragile silk. So it's my fault, but also not my fault, because I didn't realize that when I bought it, it has already been fixed. Like, it has already been repaired. So I think this is a really old shirt that has already gone through some wear. So I'm trying not to feel too sad about it. But yes, I did fuck up a shirt already. Other than germs, the falafel was heaven. I adored it in every single possible way. It was in a back alley behind a historic university, in a courtyard with no one else there except like 2 locals who knew exactly what they wanted to order. The chef who was serving us was super nice. Like, we couldn't speak Arabic to him, but he accommodated us. we only had $100 bills or 100 Egyptian pound bills from the ATM, and he didn't have enough money yet because it was like 7 a.m. when we went to change us. So he sent his like coworker friend to another shop around the corner to get us some change, and it was just so personable and friendly and hospitable, and those are my favorite kinds of dining experiences where it's just like humans being patient with you and serving you great food and just makes you feel taken care of. So the weather is hot. It was 90s yesterday. It's 80s Fahrenheit here today. It's not like humid like New York, but it's also not dry heat like Texas. It's somewhere in between. I do feel like the heat makes us very tired. I have my backpack on, and it will be less than 20 minutes walking around that my shirt will just be soaked with sweat because my backpack kind of just does not allow it to aerate. So it does get pretty achy traveling. I think it is possible to thrift in Cairo or Alexandria, but it's not the kind of thrift stores that you're thinking of when you're thinking of like New York City thrift stores. It's a very different kind of thrift. It's like I need clothes for my kids to wear. And it's just like everyday clothes. There's not a lot of I went to one that was only maybe 15 minutes walk away from the hotel, and they had just racks on racks of clothes, but they were all just like very normal everyday clothing. I'm sure there's good finds to be had, but it's also very tiny and very crowded, so I didn't feel very comfortable being there for very long. So I took a look, took a couple of really cool photos to show off the kind of space that the clothes were in, and then I left. It was also just really, it was getting dark. It was around 6 p.m. and I didn't really know the place. Also, it's just the constant noise and the constant honking, y'all. It's tiring. I don't know if you can hear it. We have our balcony doors closed, but I can still hear it. The Nile is right outside there. Here, let me take you. Yes, that's apparently the Nile. Okay, now I'm getting vertigo. Sorry. Every time I think it's possible to like drop my phone down 80 stories, I get vertigo. And then my knees get weak, and then I get scared. So we're gonna stay inside. But I hope you enjoy the view. Yeah, that's not even the worst noise. Like the traffic that I showed you, there's actual space between cars. Last night, when I tried to take a walk, I wanted to cross over to the other side of the Nile. And one, I couldn't find the pedestrian overpass. And two, in my whole hour of just like staying on this one side of the street, I did not see a single person try to cross. So I don't know if it's possible. But last night around 5 or 6 p.m., it was like bumper to bumper traffic. There wasn't even a break in which I felt comfortable like staring down a car and running across. It was just nonstop. So it gets intense, y'all. Nowco, what time is it where you are? The noise is definitely worse than NYC because the standard here is to honk. Like even in the worst traffic jam in New York City, you don't get this level of constant honking. In New York City, when you have a traffic jam and people are pissed, it's just like everybody keeping their hand on their honkers and it's just like angry honking. But here it's just like normalized plops of honks. Like they do these little honks to warn cars that surround them and to warn pedestrians that might be oncoming. So it's just like random honking, but regularly random. And I think that element of the honking, the kind of unpredictable regularity of it, is what really works up my anxiety because I was really trying to have just a random stroll last night, but I had to come back because I couldn't handle the noise, just the constant honking. I didn't know what to expect, and I don't know how to process it. So it's a very confusing place. Cape Town? Aaron, would you ever go to Cape Town?
Cake Town?
Cape Town.
Only if it was chocolate Cape Town.
Oh my god. I think Aaron's delusional. And now my stomach is like growling at me, not because I'm hungry, but because I'm filled with food and probably need some vegetables. Oh. Hello, Imani. So, a friend told me that apparently he heard that Egyptian streets are like Vietnamese streets on crack. Um, and I have to say, I don't disagree. Being in Hanoi was very overwhelming. Aaron and I did
Those
manage.
streets were already on crack.
What?
They were already on crack. We were smoking so much crack.
Aaron was like, Vietnamese streets are already on crack. It's true. A lot of Vietnam was really overwhelming to cross, and I hated being that close to cars constantly when I was walking as a pedestrian because there's just no pedestrian streets sometimes. But here, there's just a lot more cars. In Vietnam, a lot of them were motorbikes, so you didn't feel as overwhelmed because even if you collided with a motorbike, chances are you'll get really injured, but like you won't be dead. But here it's just like straight up minivans and buses and cars coming at you, and every once in a while a motorbike. Um, but like the potential for damage and injury is so much greater here. And also the streets are wider here. Like they are legit roads where there's multi-lane traffic. So when you make that decision to cross the street, it's not just like crossing over 2 rows of scooter bikes. It's like 4 rows of cars. So you're just, it, like this one car stopped for us because he saw that we were foreigners, didn't know how to cross the street, and I was like very thankful because otherwise we were just like caught between that 3 feet between the car lanes, and I just kind of, you just freeze sometimes because you don't, should I go, should I not go, should I stay and get run over, or should I run and get run over? Okay, I see. So in Cambodia, you smile and walk confidently. Got it. I was doing neither of those things. Oh, there's definitely a language barrier. Yeah. But I feel like every store has at least one person who speaks a little bit of English, and I have been trying to whip out my Google Translate a lot more. I'll just type it in there and then show them the screen. visiting Belgium. Aaron, would you ever go to Bruges?
Yes, very beautiful city from what I've heard.
Aaron would
Jeff
like to go
loved
to
it.
Bruges. O.Honey says, I love Aaron because I love spicy food and I would love to see Aaron's pepper and hot sauce
She'd love to see
pics.
my... Oh,
She would love to see your pepper and hot sauce pics.
añejo.
Añejo, yes. Anejo is our favorite hot sauce. It's from Nashville, Tennessee. It's made by Chef Gary, and he only uses the best local garlic. There was one year where we tried to order more bottles from him, and he was like, haven't made any new bottles because local garlic supply got a little decimated because of the weather, and he didn't want to use imported Chinese garlic. So he just didn't make his hot sauce. And that's when you know shit is good. When he knows the ingredients don't exist to make the product he wants to make, so he doesn't make it. What Egyptian dishes have you tried so far? I think we just tried the falafel. It was like placed in the bread, like a pita sandwich. But we also had at the same stand a potato chip sandwich. So it's just like really thick, kind of like thicker than kettle chip potato chips stuffed into a pita bread of sorts, topped with a little bit of salad inside. It was really fun. Have you seen any East Asian restaurants? I think Aaron was looking it up on Google Maps, and there was like a
It looked like, not necessarily Uyghur food. It kind of looked like more Hui Muslim food.
yeah, there was some sort of like a Muslim Chinese food restaurant that we saw on Google Maps, but I haven't seen any in person yet. Aaron should be invited to First We Feast. Aaron is no Hollywood star. I feel like they only have A-listers on there now.
I'm not an A-lister.
Aaron, you're not an A-lister. I'm
at
sorry.
least B though, right?
Yes, you're at least a B.
Okay.
Thank God he doesn't rewatch these lives.
Why?
Oh God, I'm so dehydrated. Why do I feel so thirsty?
Drink?
Do I travel for creating dishes? I mean, that wasn't the purpose for traveling. We were just traveling because Aaron loves traveling. He loves the whole experience of traveling from, leaving our city to flying to staying at different hotels to actually eating in foreign cities and walking around and exploring. I'm just like his travel companion for the most part because traveling actually brings me a lot of anxiety. So if it were up to me, I would almost never travel alone by myself. I would never plan trips internationally. But yes, we will definitely try koshari. I don't have a P.O. box yet, but thank you for the thought. We are staying in Cairo until the 7th, and then we're going to Alexandria, and that's it. Just 2 cities. We didn't want to overpack this trip because 1, COVID, 2, I don't like visa situations, not really sure. 3, just wanted to keep a simple chill for the most part. We are very different people post-pandemic. Not post-pandemic, but you know what I mean, because the pandemic isn't over. But through the pandemic, we have been changed. Our gears have shifted. Some of them are broken. So we're just traveling a little bit differently than we used to. Ooh, Nowco, are you coming to New York to do walks and do nothing else? That's great. Let me know if you want to walk. Hangover food of choice. I've never been alcoholically hungover. I've been like fatigue hungover, and when I'm hungover, ice cream. That's the only thing that seems appetizing to me. Something cold and something liquid and doesn't require effort to chew or make crunchy noises that give me headaches. So, Janice, it's very possible that they have different variants of COVID here. I'm not sure what they have. I hope I don't get it, but it's always a possibility, so we'll just have to wait and see. And I'll keep you updated if I get COVID, I guess. Hello, Jersey City. There are YouTube vids about how to cross the road in Cairo. Angel, it's kind of like watching Jeopardy. It's like not the same when you're at home on your sofa answering the questions versus actually playing the game. I'm sure I could watch the videos on how to cross the roads in Cairo a million times. But when it comes to actually stepping in front of moving cars, there's just like your fight or flight goes through the roof. Our flight was 12 hours for the first leg to Doha. And then from Doha, it was like an almost 3-hour flight to Cairo. So about 15 hours total. Ice cream is not hangover food. It is for me. Hot and sour is amazing. That's not just a hangover food. That's like a comfort food that I grew up with. I used to go to work with my mom in Chinatown, and for lunch she would always buy me like a Chinese sesame pancake stuffed with sliced cold beef. And I would always, always, always ask for a cup of hot and sour soup. And I would like dip the bread in the soup, drink the soup, chew through some of the stuff that was in the soup. And then I would like take the beef, break it up into chunks, throw it into my soup, and then have like a beef flavored hot and sour soup. Just one of the best comfort foods ever for me. My god, my stomach is so angry. Linda, the water tastes like nothing, just like great water. Unfortunately, Nestle is a shit company. So who knows how many lives they ruined to produce these bottles of water. Probably a shit ton. Congratulations, Erin. What's your recipe? I don't have news about Fred. He threw up once, but he seems otherwise fine. I think I left him a little too much dry food for his like second meal, and maybe he was just like stress eating it all too fast and he just threw it back up. Which sucks because that dry food was Stella and Chewy's, which is that $48 bag one. So what he threw up was probably like $3 whole. For shame, Fred. For shame. Keep it down. I need to drink water. Just lying in my bed in Cairo makes me thirsty. Is this what it means to live in the desert? Huh. Well, that's not good if they have a variant here that doesn't respond to vaccines. A little bit terrifying. Ooh, cassoulet. It's always a fancy name to read. I'm excited that you're shouting out farmers in the recipe. That's amazing. That really gives context to the food. Well, we are sitting in a very nice hotel room right now, so it has air conditioning. But yes, it is kind of hot outside. Today's not bad because it's overcast and in the upper 80s. But the following days will be completely sunny, so I'm sure it'll be a lot worse. It can always get worse. I wonder what Egyptian cat snacks are. There are so many stray cats here. They feel like pigeons in New York, just everywhere. Well, Lisa, I have bottled water right now because you cannot drink the tap here in Cairo. So I'm very sad that you're in Arizona and the tap water is nasty. You should come to New York. We have good tap water. It is my first time in Egypt. In fact, I think this is my first time in Africa. We are in Africa, right? Aaron's asleep. I suck at geography, but I think we're in Africa. Yeah, I hope the farmers get more business too. That would be awesome. Bye, Tiger Eyes. Bye, Lore. Linen, yeah. I really wish I had brought my linen, but all my linen clothes are at my mom's house, and I haven't been to her house in 2 years since the pandemic started, so. I do want Puffy Cat. That sounds amazing. I bet Fred will like them. What touristy things are you going to do in Cairo? I mean, by default of being here, everything that I do is a touristy thing. I'm going to walk a lot. I've been filming some footage on my camera. In fact, I think that's what tipped people off to start tapping on our Uber car window to like beg for money, is because I had stupidly held my fancy ass camera in front of me, and so they saw the camera and they just came for the camera because nobody was tapping on Aaron's side of the car. They know whose car doors to tap on. Hello, Preeti from India. Hello, Buddy, Charlie, and Jay. I have seen my mom since the pandemic. I've seen her 3 times in person, always masked and always outside. Definitely not the same feeling anymore, but it is what it is, right, folks? L, this is very boring content. I'm just chatting with you guys because I'm not tired enough to sleep, but I'm also not energetic enough to go out in Cairo. I hope you do get some sleep soon. Yeah, you know, fancy ass camera will get me every time, but also gotta make content for y'all, right? Also gotta make content for me, let's be honest. I think filming stuff really brings me some joy that is not to be found elsewhere in life, so I do enjoy it. I can't stop staring at these snacks. First of all, they smell really good. Right next to me, they smell oily. But like, I also just can't stop staring at these shells. These wormy looking shells. They look like the grubs from Lion King, don't they? Oh my god, you guys. I thought these were cheese flavored, but I just smelled them. Dude. Okay. These smell exactly like nacho cheese Doritos, but these wormy looking things, which I'm now so happy that I got, the worms smell like ketchup flavored. So I'm pretty sure I have nacho cheese and ketchup flavored snacks right now. What's today? Is today the 3rd? We're gonna stay today, tomorrow, 5th, 6th, 7th. So 5 days in Cairo. Bye, I'm Schneckenhaus. It is a nice break from dates and peanut butter, but I got a lot of dates from the airport lounges because they just kept offering it to me. They were like, do you want some dates? And I was like, no, I'm gonna eat a lot of food elsewhere. And they were like, take a date. So I have like 6 of these dates just sitting in my backpack. They're all like single packed in plastic, but they feel like very good medjool type dates. Very squishy, and I think they've already been deep pitted. Ooh. Are you talking about opening these? I'm just not hungry right now. Like, if you can hear my stomach, it's complaining that I put too much food in it, so I have to wait until I'm hungry before I open them. But I will be tasting them, and it's either going to be on a live or I'm going to film myself tasting them, and it'll be in a video later. But either way, you're going to see me eat them sooner or later. I don't know how soon, though, because I still have to edit that LA footage. I have a lot of footage. And I'm thinking about keeping all the stupid shit in because I feel like people really like long videos, and, you know, maybe you just want to see how stupid I can get when I have 4 glasses of wine. Which, yes, it did happen in LA that I drank not all 4 glasses, but I did try all 4 kinds of wine. And I got really tipsy and I started crying. And I was editing that footage and I was like, do I want to put this in? Maybe not all of it, but maybe I'll put some of it in so that you could see, just witness a different side of June. I mean, I feel like in Egypt there's a lot of nutty things. So I can't wait to go to, hopefully I make it to a spice market where I can just like go buck wild and buy a shit ton of dried fruits and nuts, and I can take it back with me to New York and I could just like eat it all in a week, but have a grand old time eating it. Thank you for liking my shirt. I actually bought these 2 shirts together in the same trip. They're both silk, so knowing that I should be covered in all of my limbs, given that this is a pretty, you know, conservative country as it pertains to revealing skin, and knowing that it was going to be 90 degrees in the desert to 100 degrees in the desert, I was like, silk. It's got to be silk. Can't even wear cotton. Honey, my mom also always washes her clothes before she wears them. I think that's smart, especially if you're thrifting it. Especially if you're thrifting during a pandemic. I would recommend everybody wash their clothes first before wearing it. The silk shirt is still wearable, but I think that the tears will just keep growing. This hotel did come with a sewing kit, so as you see, I already used 2 little bundles of thread, and I tried to patch up those tears, but given that I discovered that the shirt has already been repaired, even before I bought it and wore it, I think it's just the fabric is old and it's just gonna keep tearing. So I've definitely repaired silk before, but when the fabric is that thin and that old, it's just a matter of time before it completely disintegrates to shreds, which will be a look. We'll talk about it then, what happens to the shirt. The backpack is still ripped, yeah. Osprey says they can fix it if I spend money to ship it in, but the turnaround time is longer due to the pandemic, and because I only had a month between the last trip and this trip, I was just like, I would rather have a backpack. And I don't think I'm gonna care too much about the tear, honestly. I'll just not use that pocket. Clothes mending is really becoming an ongoing theme. And guess what? Right after I discovered I tore that shirt, I popped a button off of this shirt. So I don't know. I'm just breaking things. I am not seeing the pyramids. Aaron, I think, wants to go to the Egyptian museum, but I don't even want to go to the museum. I just don't have any interest in going into museums. The last time I was able to go overseas was October 2019. And we went to Chengdu, China, Hong Kong, and Hanoi, and we stopped over in Vancouver before coming back to New York. So that was our last big international trip. So this is our first international trip since October 2019. It's been 2 years. I mean, I wanted to just eat a lot of things and buy a lot of edible things in Cairo and look at shops and like flea markets. I love flea markets, but I haven't been able to really find those as much. And the produce, I don't know if you guys are aware, but the numbers that we currently use in a lot of our society is called Arabic numbers, but like there's actually another set of Arabic numbers, and all the prices here in Egypt are written in that second type of Arabic numbers, and it's very confusing for me. I have to basically like look up a little cheat sheet before I can realize what the prices are here. And since I don't even know how to ask for how much things are, I'm having a lot of trouble deciding whether or not to buy something because it's just like a whole thing because I don't speak the language. I don't know the number system, and unless I have someone who can help me in English, it's a lot of hoops to jump through to even find out how much something costs. And it also doesn't help that all of our money that came from the ATM machine are £100 bills, and a lot of things are like 20 or 30 here. So I'm thinking I hope I can find like a large supermarket and I could start breaking up my 100 bills, and maybe I could just like hand vendors anywhere from 10 to 30 pounds and just have them assume that I want that amount equivalent of value in the produce I'm trying to buy, because otherwise I just don't even know how I'm gonna buy anything. I sound like a complete idiot because I am. If you give them the money that you're willing to spend, then they will give you the product in exchange. I hope that they don't rip you off, but even if they do, I'm only giving them the amount of money that I'm willing to let go with. So I feel like I should just break up all of my bigger bills into smaller bills if possible. Arabic writing, I believe, is read from right to left, and I also think it's vertical, if I'm right, but I don't know. Aaron would know more. But the numbers here are, especially on signs for prices, I think they're still read from left to right. Yeah, maybe the hotel can break my bills. Janice, I'm sure they barter, but like I don't even feel like it's right for me to barter, especially if I'm not speaking the language. Like I feel like you have all the rights to barter, but I feel like you should barter on the hometown court's language to be included in that game. So I don't know. As the idiot abroad, I feel like, listen, as affordable as things are here, especially coming from a New York City background, let's not even try to haggle too much. Like, all these snacks cost me less than 2 USD. So why? Why would I do that? Yeah, we are in vacation. I am the idiot abroad, though. Completely. I can't believe people are so patient with me. Like, I'm very grateful. Obviously, if I'm going somewhere, I should learn the language, but I just couldn't. I didn't have the time and the resources to. So, Oh, we definitely bartered hard in Vietnam though, because those markets really play you up. So if I felt like the price was just outrageous, because sometimes we were given prices that we wouldn't even pay in New York, I felt like I just had to walk away. And when you do walk away and they were really gouging you, they will chase after you and offer you a new low price, to which you then have more room to haggle. Hi, Woo Plot. Yes, they use both number systems, but all of the prices here in the markets are probably the Hindu Arabic, if that's what, like, 0 is a dot here. 1 looks like a 1. 2 is like 1 with a little thingy. 3 is 1 with 2 little thingies. 4 is like a E written in capital script, or like a flipped mirrored 3. And then I don't remember what 5 looks like. Oh, I think 5 is a 0. 5 looks like a circle. I don't remember what 6 looks like. 7 looks like a V. 8 looks like an upside down V. I don't remember what 9 looks like. And I don't remember what 10 looks like. It's gonna take a while for me to like understand what all these prices are. I'm getting around to it. I think I have like half of 1 to 10 memorized now. But oh, really? Silk is not as good as cotton in the heat? Made a mistake. Changi Bunny, we were also in Hanoi, which I felt like didn't really love foreigner presence. Apparently Ho Chi Minh, wait, yes, yes, Ho Chi Minh City, is that a different, it's in the south, is more friendly and has better food. I think we just picked, um, damn, now I'm getting it confused. There's one Vietnamese city that has 2 names, but it's not Hanoi. We went to Hanoi. We didn't have a great time in Hanoi, but we heard that another city in Vietnam might have been the better choice for us to go to. But you go and you see things and you experience things, and it's an experience. I No regrets really. 5 is a 0 though. It's true. It's so confusing. Um, Any idea what you want to try food wise? We've heard stuffed pigeon is a big thing here. There's also a very sludgy, slimy looking green soup that I forget the name of. It's literally on all of the travel vlogs in Egypt. So we've been told to try that. We've been told to try kushari, which is like pasta, lentils, crunchies, like 5 or 6 different ingredients, all kind of piled into one dish. Sounds really exciting. We'll be trying that, I'm sure. But I'll just try all the food. Why not? Hi, Spain. Why Cairo? It was a city in Egypt where Aaron wanted to fly to, so we're here. Yes, Ho Chi Minh and Saigon, right. So we were told that Ho Chi Minh and Saigon, Ho Chi Minh slash Saigon, might have been a better city for us to visit. Because all of our friends who went to Ho Chi Minh City loved it. And we did have a couple of friends who went to Hanoi and they were like, yeah, didn't love it. So some people love Hanoi, some people don't. I enjoyed Hanoi, but I didn't love it. We felt kind of we felt like we were being made aware that we were foreigners the whole time. It wasn't there was just a dynamic there that made us feel like we weren't really welcomed, which I understand. It's not the locals' job to make you feel welcomed, but it's just for me as a traveler, if I feel a sense of not being welcome, then I obviously don't want to be there because I feel like I'm intruding and I feel guilty and ashamed for doing something. Like it was almost like trespassing private property, that kind of feeling. I got the same feeling when I was in Rome. Aaron didn't, but Aaron also felt a lot more uncomfortable in Hanoi than I was. So I do feel like there is a racial aspect of it as much as there is a cultural difference to it because I was Asian in a white country, Italy, and I felt really unwelcome there. And Aaron was in an Asian country as a white man, and he felt really uncomfortable there. So I do feel like there is a racial thing, but who knows? I haven't had kosher, but we will. I promise. We can't live it down if we come to Egypt and never have kosher. So. Aaron handles all flights and almost all accommodations. So that's his area. I will definitely pitch in if there's like additional tax fees or if we stay on Airbnbs, we'll split it. But for the most part, Aaron has this fancy living hacks. Mala Francesca, you liked Hanoi over Saigon and you thought the food was better. Interesting. Okay, well, see, everybody thinks differently. I really enjoyed the food that we had in Hanoi. Aaron wasn't a fan. He just doesn't really like Vietnamese food in general because, as you know, he likes the kind of poppy flavors and spiciness that you would find more in, like, say, Thai food. But I really enjoy Vietnamese food. I find it very comforting. All the different variations of like rice products, texturally, mild flavor wise, is very soothing to me. But I think for Aaron, it just reads as boring. So I also loved Spain, but I felt really uncomfortable in Rome, and I don't plan on visiting Paris. We went to 5 cities, I think, in Italy. My favorite was both Naples for the dessert and the kind of like jumbliness of it, and also Genoa. I love Genoa because it felt very homey, chill, kind of like urban suburban. No, that's not the right way to describe it. It felt like a bougie place, but approachable. And there was a really nice market there where I bought a lot of cookies and produce and cheese, and everybody was just very accommodating. And I didn't feel like it was swallowed up by tourists the way Rome was. I hated Venice because obviously that's just like pure tourism there. Florence was much more exciting and relaxing and colorful than I had expected, so I enjoyed Florence too. You felt that in Utah. Did you did you go travel in Utah for fun? Why Utah? Um, Mind a freak. Do you mind me asking what your racial identity is? Because I feel like in Italy, being Asian, when I didn't attempt to speak Italian, like there were definitely people who were nice to me, but there were equally people who were just like looking me up and down and checking me out, and I maybe I was just too self-conscious. I don't know. Aaron doesn't have much of an agenda, but he does want to go to the Egyptian Museum. I think we're both very tuckered out. He's like fast asleep right now. Wow, that's a very interesting dynamic, oh dot honey. Do people hate on you for your individual identities or for your identity as a couple together because they assume that a white person is together with a native person. Are they hating that kind of perceived interracial match? How strange. People are so strange. Central Vietnamese food. It's possible. You know, Aaron. As soon as you add spice to anything, he's game. Hello, Chewbacca. Yes, I did love the alleys in Genoa. There's also like fantastic bakeries tucked away in those alleys, just like very cute small shops, pastry shops, food shops, clothing shops, gift shops. There was a honey store. I just love the kind of like compartmentalized alley shopping ways. It's kind of like a dream come true for me to just have like small tuckered away places where you could buy stuff and they're all affordable and you can taste some of them. And my favorite vacation memory, I don't I don't even know. I think being in Chengdu with Aaron in 2019 was one of my favorite moments because there was so much good food in Chengdu, and it helped that I spoke the language. You know, traveling and speaking the language is really useful, and it makes this experience a lot smoother. Um, it does trip like a guilt wire in me of shame for not knowing the language of the place that I'm in, because then like it just goes to a place in my head where I'm like, well, why do you think you deserve to be here? Like, what did you do to get here and to exist here? And obviously the answer is because I'm privileged enough to be able to afford a flight and go through a very simplistic visa process where you literally just have to pay $25 and they give you a card to be here. I bought my way in. And so, like, that kind of context makes me feel a little weirded out and guilty about it. And so, I feel like learning the language and knowing the language would almost give me more legitimacy of my intruding upon someone else's place and time and being. But I didn't do it this time. Just doing my best. Unfortunately, my best is not good enough for my conscience. KP girl, you really should go to sleep. But we can't tell you what to do. Only you can. Yes, go to Naples, eat all the desserts. And Naples has some of my favorite gelatos. The gelato there is different than the rest of the country, I feel like. It's much more dairy forward. Mind a freak, interesting. Well, you know, maybe it was just my brain being overactive. It really does. I really do think it really helps, even if you just speak a little bit of the language. Like when I went to Genoa and I went to that market and I started buying cookies, I just like spoke some really broken Italian, being like, "Hi, how are you? I would like some of this. How much?" And I would give them the money and I would say thank you. And like they knew I tried. And just knowing that I tried to speak in their language really smooths over the exchange and the interaction. And so, you know, I think I feel guilty for not having tried to prepare myself for this trip, which then also not only reflect on the actual interaction I have with a local person, but also reflects in my own self-consciousness that like, wow, June, you really didn't even try, which, you know, when I feel that guilt makes me behave in a different way. That makes me even more nervous and even more embarrassed, and that makes the actual exchange with someone else even more awkward. So it's just kind of like a little rain down effect of, you didn't try hard enough, bitch. remember when we were talking about mugwumps. That's rough, oh dot honey. I'm sorry, we're pretty stupid as a species, and we just decide to hate people for no reason. No reason. There's no reason. I didn't know Colin Firth was in a movie called Genoa, set in Genoa. Is it a good movie? Hello, Tokyo. Patricia, how do you like Tokyo? Are you a white person or a Japanese person? And if you are white in Tokyo, how are you finding the transition there if you are indeed an immigrant to Japan? I'm very fascinated to people who immigrate, especially later in their life, not as a child, and how they adjust to the culture and the custom and the context there. Especially for a place like Japan where there's so many rules and a lot of them are unsaid, and it's like really difficult to absorb all of those rules. Hello, Patrick. We are just vacationing in Cairo, but for the most part, we're just staying in our hotel room because we're both already very exhausted. I also want to visit Taiwan one day. That would be amazing. Yes, Rosa, definitely right. Rosa said a little Italian or French gets a very different response, even when they just then speak to English to be nice to you. But yeah, not even trying gets you to staying. Absolutely. I felt exactly that when I tried to not use any Italian, disdain. But like, even if I tried just to use broken Italian, it would make them smile a little bit. Like, they're just, they're like, that is so wrong what you just said, but I get it, you're trying. Like that kind of smirky smile, which, just make a little fool out of yourself because you are. I am a fool. And you just make a little human connection. Yes, we have been saying, shukran, I have been saying. Yeah, a lot of people who DM me apologize for their bad English, and I'm like, dude, your English is better than a lot of people I get emails from. Hello from England. Senna, welcome. Bye, Nauko. Wooplot, I didn't ask someone why they're white. I'm asking someone if they're white. But you don't have to answer me. I'm tired. I'm weird. I'm weirder than my normal weird. Rashmi, unfortunately, I don't think I'm going to make it to India, but Aaron does want to go. India seems very overwhelming to me. Like, just the sensory attack is more than I can handle. Even when I watch footage of being in India, every time I watch a travel vlog in India, I'm like, that food looks dang good, but I truly don't think I can go there. Mean Girls references are great. Aaron's been to Turkey twice in the past year, and he loves Turkish cuisine. I think I've had forms of Turkish cuisine in New York, but I'm sure it's way better in Turkey, so we'll see. Interesting. Unbridled candor. That's a very interesting tale. Hello, NYC. Oh, Hannah. I just did a whole 40-minute spiel on how Cairo is exhausting, but hopeful to explore even more of it. Yes, we watch Mark Wiens for sure. We watch Mikey Chen. We watch Trevor James, aka Food Ranger. Those are like the big three that we watch. Woo plot, you don't want to be mistaken as a girl there. Yeah. Enjoy Rocky Horror. Bye. Oh yeah, Aaron will love South Indian food for sure. We've had South Indian food here in Jersey City and New York, and he loves it every time. That gives me heartburn like no other. Not only is it like rich and fatty, but it's spicy. And roughly 40 minutes after the meal, I will start burping up swords of acid reflux. Hello, Canada. Is that the place where the Nanaimo bars came out of? Those are so dang good. Are you aware of the problems with women's rights in Egypt and Turkey? I'm not especially aware of the women's rights issues in Egypt and Turkey, but I feel like with Texas shutting down women's control over their own bodies, America also has a shit ton of problems with women's rights too. So I just feel like it's everywhere. India has a lot of women's rights issues too, just everywhere. Ooh, curd rice. I've never heard of curd rice. That sounds so good. Oh my god, I don't want to take a nap, guys, but I think it's happening. Have a good morning meditation. Bye, Sheila. Okay, you guys should tell me, should I take a nap or should I not take a nap? Yes, Selena, you're not alone. I've had quite a few viewers ask me why I chose to come to Egypt, if I was aware of the human rights issues in this country. I'm not terribly aware of the human rights issues in this country. I'd be happy to read more up on it. But, I have unresolved and unformulated mixed feelings about human rights violations and how it pertains to supporting tourism in those countries. Like, China has a lot of human rights issues. There is no fucking way that I can tell people to stop visiting China. Well, maybe not now because COVID, but I don't know. I mean, we're free to debate the merits of this, but I don't think it's really going to solve the issues of human rights that are being violated. I think Fred is doing okay. My friend has not visited him for the day yet because it is currently like 4 a.m. in New York City. So, in about 6 hours or 8 hours, I will have an update. Probably will be on Instagram if I get sent a photo of Fred. Fred doesn't wreck houses. He's a nice cat. Florida governor. I don't know if I would take a single word that comes out of Florida to be a personal truth. I'm not going to say anything bad about Egypt on social media because I don't know anything about Egypt. I guess it helps to be ignorant sometimes. I think just coming from a place like the United States where we have seriously fucked up a lot of things, and I think in the past few years have come to fully recognize how much we fucked up. There's no country that is not guilty of something. There are definitely worse countries than others when it comes to violating human rights. But if we are essentially blacklisting countries for the actions that their government took, that the people themselves didn't really participate in decision making, what does depriving yourself of travel and depriving the local economy of tourism money actually do in terms of affecting change in a government that wasn't out there to hear out the people and help them anyway? Yeah, woo plot. Exacto. Exacto. Our industrial military complex has ruined so many countries and so many lives and continues to do so every single fucking day. Bye, Patrick. I'm not discrediting what you're saying, Selena. I don't distrust that there are issues here. I'm just saying who is without sin. I'm also not condoning the attack on human rights. Any country. Okay. Well, maybe I am ignoring the problems. Maybe it is sometimes too difficult to acknowledge this world fully. I don't know how I can acknowledge how broken this world is on a daily basis. I think to be aware of all of the issues and to hold them in your brain and to act only in accordance of supporting a blanket good versus evil is paralyzing. And I'm not saying I can't do that. I can exist in paralysis. I'm just saying, yeah, maybe you are right. Maybe I am choosing to ignore it so that I can be unparalyzed for a while. I'm not the best person that exists. I do bad things. Am I asking you to, accept the bad parts to me? No, I'm just saying I do them. That's all. Bye, Debbie. I mean, Aaron is being very optimistic, which I'm thankful for the optimistic viewers out there. But I don't actually think we can change much of the world. I think we've been just waiting around in our own shit for centuries. It's the same shit that we keep waiting in. And, the longer we swim in shit, the more we get used to it. And I think we got too used to it and it became our reality. And more and more of us are tired of fighting to get out of the shit. So now we're just submitting ourselves to existing in shit. Obviously, there are a lot of countries where the shit is unbearable. And those are countries that I have the privilege of not living in. It's not ethical to do a lot of things. We all do them. It's not really ethical to eat animals the way we currently eat them, but we do it. It's not ethical for me to stay in a hotel this expensive, I guess, because hotels this expensive shouldn't exist when people are unhoused. It's not ethical to have businesses like Nestle exist, but they do, and I'm not sure what I can do to make them not exist. I for sure would never buy a Nestle product, but just depriving them of $1,000 of my money doesn't mean that it'll shutter them. Same things exist with using Amazon. People divest. It does have an impact, but does it have enough of an impact to actually change the world? I don't know. Maybe optimists like Aaron believe that it will, and maybe it will, but I don't really have faith. Yeah, for sure. Like, morality and ethics is not clear cut. That's why it's so difficult. That's why law is so difficult. How do you uphold a system of justice when there's no definition of what justice is? How do you give justice in the case of someone having been murdered? There is no real justice for compensating for a life gone. So I don't disagree with anyone who's chatted so far, Yeah. Unfortunately, there's a lot of countries that like to abuse people for just doing innocuous things. Um, I don't know. In the US, police get away with shooting people dead in the street. People who are running away from them. And these interactions get caught on tape and they get disseminated in media, and the police go free. They get to go on paid leaves. I would say that's a human rights violation. I would say there is no justice in that system. So obviously some issues are more pervasive in certain countries, and it's a matter of what gets recognized by the international community and what gets condoned and what gets punished. Oftentimes, the more powerful countries get condoned because there's matters of international trade, economic benefits, financial incentives, how to keep up the global trade and economy. Gets very convoluted. How can the Pentagon just issue an apology for killing children with a strike? Sorry, it was a mistake. Killed 9 of your people. And then they get away with it. That should be a war crime. You want to go to sleep? Aaron wants to go to sleep. I guess I'll end the live. But, thanks for tuning in, y'all. May we see you another time.